mix water. She says, come on, let's go and have some fun. Don't put your hair in my face. I don't wanna smell your perfume. Don't put your hands on my waist. I don't wanna dance with you. Don't put your hair in my face. I don't wanna smell your perfume. Don't put your hands on my waist. I don't wanna dance with you. The sound of your voice.
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show with your host, Brad Brock.
Good morning, Jammers. Welcome to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show. I am Brad, and I'll be your host this morning. TGIF, it is Friday again. Boy, the weeks just keep coming, don't they? They don't stop for anybody. My goodness. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed your Thursday after the show. I certainly did. I got to finally play my show at Manatee Island after almost a month and a half of missed shows because of the rain we've been experiencing, the heavy rain down here in Florida that we've been experiencing on the Treasure Coast the last couple of weeks. Yeah, Thursdays have been pretty treacherous, but it was a beautiful night. It truly felt like fall for the first time, which is wonderful. It was nice. It was cool. I barely broke a sweat. I had some friends come out. I got gifts. It was really, really a nice time to be back at Manatee Island. So if you were out there, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much for joining me this morning here on the Jams and Coffee morning program over on YouTube, or if you're tuning in on Facebook, thank you so much. Or if you're listening in on JNC Radio via the Live365 app or on jncpodcast.com. I appreciate that as well. It's a great way to listen in your car if you're driving. That way you're not distracted by this beautiful face. Or these two beautiful faces from Hops und Schnaps. Of course, Hops und Schnaps there. Of course, Schnaps was our guest on the Oktoberfest podcast this past Wednesday night. So, representing them today. Anyway, thank you so much. The weather it looks really nice out the window. My little window check that I like to do. It looks great this morning here on the Treasure Coast. The temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 70s under partly cloudy skies. This afternoon, the highs are going to be in the low 90s with mostly sunny skies and only some inland showers and storms. Tonight, scattered showers and storms with the low to mid, or with lows in the low to mid 70s. So a little bit of rain out there sprinkled around, Hopefully it doesn't affect any of you working musicians out there that might have a gig tonight. Certainly hope it doesn't affect my gig. In fact, the last I'm supposed to play at Chuck's Seafood tonight in Fort Pierce, just at the east foot of the bridge there. Last time I was supposed to play there, I don't know if it actually rained, but it looked like it was going to unload, and there's really no cover there to run to. So we made the call to cancel, and I'm there only once a month, so I missed the whole month. But I'm back there tonight, and hopefully the weather cooperates with that as well. It's not a very big news day, but some interesting stuff to talk about. Of course, I think we'll dive into our national days to kick things off. Always fun to find out what's going on out there. Let's see. Today is National Brave Day, and it honors women who lift each other up, rescue each other, and make each other brave. Sometimes just a flutter of encouragement comes in the form of timely guidance from another woman. Other times, groups of women provide the energy-coordinated, thoughtful efforts for someone in need. Women empowering women. Despite varied experiences and backgrounds, women come together across generations to support each other. These small tokens come in many forms. For example, a monetary reprieve over a cup of coffee. I'm not monetary. I mean, that would be nice too, I think. I meant to say momentary reprieve. Freudian slip, perhaps. Over a cup of coffee during a hectic day makes all the difference. A well-written letter of recommendation for a job may change the course of a life. These small tokens strengthen a woman who may have undergone unspoken tragedy or struggles. The opportunities to empower sisters, friends, family, and even a stranger are limitless. National Brave Day seeks out tangible ways to encourage women to keep moving forward and to be brave. So there you go. What else is going on? It's National Checkers Day. September 23rd, National Checkers Day, which is also known as Dogs in Politics Day. It recognizes political pooches or candidate canines, first Fidos, or revolutionary rovers. More dogs than presidents have lived in the White House, that's for sure. While this day marks the day in history that Checkers the dog stole the spotlight, many other powerful pooches found their way to center stage. For example, while President Carter was winning the election, his first dog was being born. The Border Collie only lived with the first family for a short time, however. Another White House canine by the name of Murray the Outlaw of Fallahill, or Falla for short, created quite a stir. The well-traveled Scottish Terrier of President Franklin D. Roosevelt was notorious for taking off. After one trip with FDR to the Aleutian Islands, rumors suggested the president forgot his pet. According to the talk, the president sent the Navy back to recover Falla. The story spread and became fodder for political debate during the next election. You know, nothing's off limits when you're campaigning. All right. What else is going on? What other days are going on out there? It's National Snack Stick Day. Let's find out what that is. National Snack Stick Day encourages you to pack your pockets, backpacks, and desk drawers with yummy snack sticks so you can celebrate. Bye, Jordan. Jordan's taking off. Primarily made with beef or pork, snack sticks harken back to the days when families preserved quantities of beef, pork, and game. Full of family tradition, they made sausage through smoking and aging. Developed generation after generation, the recipes use premium ingredients and an abundance of love. These little portions of smoked sausage are a convenient source of protein. Take several with you on a hike or toss one into your gym bag. Snack sticks satisfy mid-morning hunger pangs and are easily shared after school, after work, or any time. The variety of flavorful choices, snack sticks, please the whole family. I feel like I'm reading a commercial here. For snack sticks, from sweet to spicy and everything in between, this savory snack fits a busy lifestyle to perfection. Get your snack sticks at your local retailer. Oh, look at that! They got a advert out of me. I didn't even know it. Great marketing. I have some awareness days to talk about. Let's see. It's Restless Legs Awareness Day. Promotes education and medical around a medical condition impacting adults and children alike. Professor Carl Axel Ekborn, a Swedish neurologist, first described the syndrome back in 1945, and we've learned a lot about it since then. But there's still no known cause for it. Restless leg syndrome, also known as Willis-Ekborn disease, Ekborn, is characterized by uncontrollable urges to move the legs. The condition affects approximately 7% of the population. Those experiencing severe symptoms say it impacts their quality of life. RLS, the condition, presents with the following symptoms. Strong urges to move the legs, unpleasant or uncomfortable sensations accompany the urges as well. Symptoms worsen when relaxing or inactive. They're especially worse when trying to sleep. However, symptoms seem to improve when moving, stretching, or walking. During the night and even evening hours, symptoms increase. And there doesn't seem to be any other associated cause, like arthritis or injury. Those with RSL lead normal lives. Identifying and eliminating exasperating medications reduces symptoms. Researchers continue seeking a cause for RLS, but good to be aware of that. Let's see. There's another one here. This is a National Gay Men's HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. Of course, it builds awareness and increases education about this disease. The day also focuses on finding ways to eliminate the disease. The Centers for Disease Control recommends anyone between the age of 13 and 64 receive an HIV test as part of a routine physical. Those who are sexually active, the CDC recommends testing once per year, sometimes more frequently, depending on risk factors. If you are engaged in that kind of behavior, get yourself tested. It seems like a reasonable thing to do, gay or otherwise, really. If you're out there, spreading it around, you should probably get checked from time to time. What else we got going on here? It's National Great American Pot Pie Day. Who doesn't love a good pot pie? Let's see. Warm up the home with a toasty meal of pot pies to celebrate today. Pot pies typically include both a flaky top crust. Oh, I already know this article is going to make me hungry. Child. Both a flaky top crust and bottom crust. Occasionally, recipes omit the bottom crust. Either way, fill them with tender chicken, beef, or pork, and lots of vegetables for a hearty meal. Some other delicious fillings include turkey and seafood. Traditional veggies in a pot pie include potatoes, carrots, green beans, and peas. Finally, the gravy and seasonings make the pies irresistible. When they begin heating up in the oven, the family knows when dinner's ready. This crowd pleaser draws families together. During the cooler days, the meal of pot pie easily uses up vegetables from the garden and leftovers. It fills bellies after a long day of work, too. Several pies may be prepared ahead and frozen as well. During the crispier. I meant to say crisper. You can see I've not had breakfast yet this morning. During the crisper evenings, gather friends and family around the table. These hot pies can be made to serve individually or as one large pie. Either way, the aroma fills the home and warms the heart. Pot pie day. Philip says we make great homemade pot pies. I have to look through your timeline. They still call it a timeline, or is it a news feed now? Well, I feel like it's ridiculous either way. On Facebook, Love you, Facebook. Love you, Mark, if you're listening. Really? Oh, let's see. It's also a National Energize Day. It's on the day after the autumnal equinox. And it offers an opportunity to relax and rejuvenate. This day is for you. Since fall has officially arrived, it's time to shift gears. The fast pace of summer activities passes by now. Languid autumn days provide tranquil sunsets and peaceful moments, God willing. These are the times to focus on your personal well-being, do things you enjoy, and make you feel good about yourself. Let stress and worry fade away for the day. The day is an excellent time to look inward. Whether you rejuvenate your spiritual connections or develop mindfulness, refocusing your energy can have huge benefits. After trying to cram every activity into a few short months, we sometimes lose focus. Fall allows us to take a deep breath and be more mindful of our bodies, spirits, and of the world around us. So if you're wondering what this looks like, you can take a long bath, read a good book, go for a walk, focus on a hobby you might have neglected over the summer, listen to your favorite music, tune out the digital, put the devices down, I suppose. But not right now. I need you to hold those devices and engage. just for an hour. You can write a letter, dance around the house, take a nap, cuddle with a pet or a family member, watch the sunset or sunrise, get a massage, meditate. No matter how you celebrate, do it with a smile and focus on yourself a little bit. It's okay. It's worth it. What else is going on? There's all kinds of stuff here. Another awareness day. It's a Teal Talk Day. And each year, over 249,000 women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer worldwide. That's a big number. Gather your friends, wear teal for a day, and talk about it. Join a group of coworkers for lunch. Men are also welcome. They have mothers, wives, daughters, and sisters at risk for ovarian cancer, and they should have the Teal Talk too. Since no standard screening exists for ovarian cancer, awareness gives us our best defense. The talk takes very little time. Have a Teal Talk over lunch. In that time, approximately 28 women will receive an ovarian cancer diagnosis. So, and that's a lot. So, yeah. Be aware and talk about ovarian cancer. I think that's it. That's all I see here. Anything hiding? All right, that's your national days. Brilliant. Let's take a look at the chats and comments over here. What are you guys talking about? Anybody? Let's see. Jeremy. Good morning, Jeremy. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Get an ABS battery backup for gigs. Yeah. He said okay. I think I saw your post about this, Jeremy. I saw it yesterday. It's a great idea. I have one here for my digital gear on my rack here in the studio. For those occasional blinks. Keeps it from having that. Yeah. Thankfully thankfully for me, I have zero digital gear, with the exception of my drum machine, which also has a battery backup built into it. But yeah, my iPad runs all my guitar effects, and that has a built-in battery. Everything else I have on my pedal board has a battery backup. So, but that is, and I don't have any digital gear for my PA. But yeah, if you are rocking one of those Bose systems, they're incredibly popular, and yeah, they're very sensitive to power outages or power flashes. I read your harrowing story about having to send your mixer off. I hope that's you got it replaced or repaired or have something in the meantime. But yeah, that sucks. But that's a great idea. I never thought about that. Those things are heavy, but worth it. Worth it to have that peace of mind if there's a power flash. And it happens, I wouldn't say, at least in my experience, it doesn't happen often at some of these venues that I play at, but it has happened. The worst case of this was not done by nature, I suppose, or a power flash per se, and I was furious. I had to center myself, and because it was an honest mistake, but completely avoidable. I was playing a venue, and a manager or a employee, I don't know, a key manager or whatever, was showing another employee where everything was for things, and was showing him a panel of switches that, and what they operate, and he flipped one of the switches off, and it was the entire power source for the stage, and all of my stuff in the middle of a song went completely out. And I immediately walked over and was like, don't ever do that again. And he was so sorry. And like I said, it was an honest mistake. I had to pull myself in and be like, it's okay. Just don't ever touch that again. There's no reason for it. Pointing is just fine. And, but that, that was an instance where, boom, the power was just gone immediately. What are you going to do? Battery backups for gigs. It's a good idea. What else? There's some music history. Actually, a few things. We don't normally get this, but this was a big day through the years. We'll start with the most recent one. Back in 2016, according to the Music Business Association, playlists were now a more popular way to listen to music than albums. Not a surprise these days, but probably a surprise back in 2016. The report said playlists accounted for 31% of listening time across all demographics, while albums lagged behind on 22%. But single tracks remain the dominant format, according to the study, accounting for 46% of music played. Yeah, I feel like by the mid 2000s, really, or or the early 2000s, as soon as the iPod made its magical debut, that single sales were really, really dominating, or started to dominate, because I don't know about you, but back in the day, a lot of times there was only a couple singles off of an album that you liked. And for me, it was when you bought an album, you obviously listened to the single that you wanted it for 1,000 times. But I loved the discovery of hearing what else the artist had to offer. So for me, an album was a kind of an undiscovered country. It was like listening to something new. And they weren't all great. They weren't all bangers. But, sometimes you got a song on the B-sides that was really great. And I feel like that's kind of taken a shift. Very easy now to just listen to the song you want to hear on demand whenever you want, over and over again if you choose. CDs made it super easy, but, records you had to kind of flip through, and cassette tapes, forget about it. It was impossible. They did, towards the end of the cassette tape player, and this might age me a little bit, but I want to know if you remember this. They had cassette players that were intelligent enough to detect breaks in the audio. So you would hit the fast forward button, and it would scroll to the break in the audio, thinking that it perhaps was the next track on the record. And so it was intelligent enough. It was like skipping songs, but it was really moving physical tape to a break in the audio. I thought that was clever. They were pretty clever back there in the late 90s, early 90s for tape players, but the technology was there. So soon forgotten. Now we don't even now do we even fast forward through songs? But yeah, that was 2016. Moving back towards the 1980s, back in 1980, Bob Marley. We just talked about this yesterday or the day before. Bob Marley collapsed on stage during a concert at Stanley Theater in Pittsburgh. He had collapsed in New York's Central Park while jogging just 2 days before and was told to immediately cancel the U.S. leg, but he flew to Pittsburgh to perform one final performance. And this was the last time Marley ever appeared on stage because he died of cancer on May of 1981. Sad day. Back in going even further, and this is breaking news and the subject of many conspiracy theories even today. Back in 1969, the Northern Star newspaper of Northern Illinois University ran a story claiming that Paul McCartney had been killed in a car crash in 1966 and had been replaced by a look-alike. Russell Gibb of WKNR-FM in Detroit picked up on the claim, and the story went worldwide. Perhaps the first viral story. By late October 1969, the hoax was so well entrenched that McCartney came out of seclusion at his Scottish farm to deny the story. McCartney was asked to comment by a reporter visiting Macca's farm. He replied, "Do I look dead? I'm fit as a fiddle." And of course, that story persists even today. A little on this day music history for you there. Before we take a quick break, we got the weekend outlook, at least for me, and things that I'll be doing. So I hope that you may decide to join me on one tonight. Of course, as I mentioned, I'll be at Chuck's Seafood from 6 to 9 in Fort Pierce, just at the east foot of the Causeway Bridge there. Hopefully the weather's good. Come and hang out with me. It's a cool place. I'll be out at the Tiki Bar, naturally. Saturday, I just have a farmer's market in Vero Beach that I do in the morning. Otherwise, I'll be out on the town. I believe I'm going to stop in at Collab Kitchen in Stewart from 5 to 8 and catch Sweet Butter Joe, better known as Schnapps, right there. He does this incredible saxophone solo show, right? It's not what you think. So he does, like, you know how you see guitarists out there with their loop pedals, and, you know, they build the tracks with their guitars and, you know, rhythms and beatboxing and the whole 9 yards, and it's really, really quite amazing. Joe does the same thing, but with only a saxophone and in his voice. So he'll build these really elaborate layers of loops. And, you know, of course, he uses effects on his saxophone to make it sound like different things. You know, he's got an octave pedal to give those low notes. He beatboxes. He's very good, and he sings. But he builds these incredible tracks and performs these hit songs just with a saxophone. It's really, really quite something. And you can catch that at Collab Kitchen 5 to 8 on Saturday, tomorrow. I will probably be moonlighting there for a little while. And then rounding out the weekend, Sunday, I'll be at the District Table, which I believe is actually the sister company of Collab Kitchen. I'll be there from 5:30 to 8:30 on Sunday night. That's a cool place, too. That's in Stewart, in the Salerno area, if you're familiar. So, yeah. And then Monday morning, I'll be right back here with you guys. How fun is that? Listen, I'm going to take a quick musical break. Put a little bit more coffee in this cup. And when we come back, NASA doing shit again. I'm going to talk what's NASA up to now, and what are they doing on Monday? We're going to tell you when I come back. You're listening to Jams and Coffee in the Morning. Be sure to drop me a line in the chats and comments. And the phone line is open, 772-888-1596. Follow the prompts, and I'll get you on the air with me. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Here's one from the Tasty Vibrations.
We got the frequency, the fit of energy. Ask no question, let the rhythm be the remedy. Can't silence me, can't silence my enemies. Who's meant to be will always be. This is your destiny. They can't stop us now. No, 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 they can't stop us now. No, 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 they can't stop us now. Nah, nah, no, nah, nah, no. Cause I've been singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Oh no, oh no. Obligation, controls the population. No imitation, you know that we're not faking. You give my mind right, free my soul. So I am singing upon the microphone. And they can't stop us now. No, 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 they can't stop us now. No, 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 they can't stop us now. No, 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 no. Cause I've been singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Oh no. Some reasons, spitting verses through the mind like it's my purpose. Never perfect, open the curtain, call the masses. Use your imagination and imagine a nation singing. They can't stop us now. No, 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 they can't stop us now. No, 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 they can't stop us now. No, 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 no. Cause I've been singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Oh no, oh no. Stop us now. No, 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 they can't stop us now. No, 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 they can't stop us now. No, 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 no. Cause I've been singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Singing it like a la ba ba la ba. Oh no. La ba ba la ba. La ba ba la ba. La ba ba la ba.
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show.
Welcome back to Jams and Coffee here in the morning. That was the Tasty Vibrations with Can't Stop Us. Thanks for tuning in here on over on YouTube, Facebook, or JNC Radio. NASA, they're at it again, you guys, with their new DART program. So on Monday, they're going to be smashing its DART spacecraft into an asteroid. What could go wrong? NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test, DART. The spacecraft is set to slam into an asteroid on Monday. The first ever test of humanity's ability to deflect life-threatening space rocks before they collide with Earth. Seems good on paper. I'll tell you what I think about it when we're done with this article. The 1,210-pound DART craft, a squat cube-shaped probe consisting of sensors and antenna, an ion thruster, and two 28-foot-long solar arrays, will smash into the asteroid Dimorphos while traveling at roughly 13,420 miles per hour. The goal of the probe's test is to slow the orbit of the 525 feet wide Dimorphos around its larger partner, the 1,280 feet wide asteroid Didymos. Neither asteroid poses a threat to Earth, as they will be more than 7 million miles from our planet at the time of DART's impact, but NASA scientists want to use the test to study how a more dangerous asteroid might one day be nudged from its deadly collision course. DART will collide with Dimorphos at 7:14 p.m. on Monday, with live coverage set to begin at 6 p.m. Eastern on NASA TV. They say our DART spacecraft is going to impact an asteroid in humanity's first attempt to change the motion of a natural celestial body. Tom Statler, a scientist working at NASA's Planetary Defense Team. It'll be a truly historic moment for the entire world. DART began its journey to Didymos and Dimorphos 10 months ago, launched aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that blasted off from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. But its roots can be traced back even further. The early 2000s scientists at the European Space Agency proposed another asteroid bumping test named after Don Quixote. Miguel de Cervantes, 16th century literary knight, of course, renowned for charging pointlessly at windmills, which he mistook for giants. Okay. The mission, of course, was never finalized. And in 2011, the ESA agreed to work with NASA on a joint deflection mission, the Asteroid Impact Mission, AIM. It was later split into NASA's DART and the ESA's Hera missions, the first to collide with Dimorphos on Monday, and the second to launch in 2026 to study the crash's aftermath. Scientists expect the test to slow Dimorphos down a bit, around 1%, and bring it into closer orbit with Didymos. The mission will be considered a success if it slows Dimorphos' 12-hour orbit down by 73 seconds. But the real change could be by as much as 10 minutes. As the DART craft will be destroyed on impact, its onboard Didymos reconnaissance and asteroid camera for optical navigation will only be able to snap second-by-second images of the orbiter's last moments before it smashes into Dimorphos. To get a better immediate picture of the outcome, the scientists will turn to the Italian Space Agency's Licia Cube, a smaller CubeSat spacecraft that split from DART on September 11th, orbiting the aftermath of the collision at a distance of 34 miles. It'll beam back photos to Earth, the trajectory-altering impact, and the plume of material thrown out by the crash. Also witnessing the impact will be some observatories on the ground, NASA's James Webb Telescope and Hubble Space Telescope, the agency's Lucy spacecraft. Their observations will be vitally important to scientists looking to understand how much force is needed to successfully divert an asteroid. My 2 cents is, while on one hand it is good to be able to figure out how to make sure huge, giant asteroids don't smack into Earth and make us like the dinosaurs. At the same time, what are the ramifications for altering the course of asteroids in general? You know, what else? What are we putting them in? What are we going to put them in the path of when we knock it out of Earth's path? The implications are endless. But good on them. Good on them for trying to figure that out. I may have the answers to some questions you might ask yourself. I've answered quite a few of them on this show. This one, I'm certain that you wake up each and every day hobble your way to the bathroom. Wipe the sleep from your eyes. Stare at your reflection in the mirror. Drawing yourself in closer, gazing deep into your own eyes. And ask yourself, why are mosquitoes more attracted to some people than others? Well, here are some of the reasons. Do you dread outdoor parties? You always carry bug spray with you? I do. The bug juice, locally owned and made here on the Treasure Coast. It's great stuff. Many wonder why wonderful weather has to be spoiled by buzzing mosquitoes. But there also seems to be people who are never bothered by the pesky flying nuisances. Well, according to medical entomologists, arthropods like mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, and horseflies require the protein found in blood to develop eggs. Only the female mosquitoes feed on blood, while males feed on plant nectar for energy. So it's just the women who are bugging us. Sorry, ladies. Since blood feeding is so important, a very large part of the mosquito's evolution has been focused on ways to find blood sources to feed on. Mosquitoes are the deadliest animal in the world for the pathogens they spread while feeding on blood. They kill hundreds of thousands of people annually. Did you know that? Especially children. Mosquitoes use sound, smell, and sight to identify blood sources to make their eggs. At night, they usually use their sense of smell to local blood. Mosquitoes are highly sensitive to CO2 and can sense it from a distance of many feet. While CO2 comes from non-living sources like vehicles, mosquitoes use other cues like movement and breathing to detect living sources. Mosquitoes that are active during daylight hours use vision to identify sources. Also, experts say mosquitoes prefer type O blood the most. Yikes, I think I'm type O. Makes a lot of sense. Although, also, those who have a higher lactic acid in their skin are attractive to mosquitoes as well. Many people easily hear and notice mosquitoes more than others. When you emit more breath and move around, mosquitoes may notice you more. They're like Tyrannosaurus rexes. Just got to be perfectly still. Pregnant women are also more prone to mosquito bites because of their higher body temperature and higher emission of carbon dioxide. So there you go. There are some reasons why perhaps mosquitoes are more interested in you than others. Hope that answers some of those burning questions. Let's see. The NFL, you football fans out there, they have a new halftime show sponsor. Apparently, Apple Music is replacing longtime sponsor Pepsi as the new sponsor for the NFL's Super Bowl halftime show. The multi-year partnership was announced Friday, and financial terms weren't disclosed. In a statement, the NFL said it couldn't think of a more appropriate partner for the show. The halftime show is the most-watched musical performance of the year, with 120 million people watching for this year's performance. Apple Music's sponsorship begins at the next Super Bowl on February 12, 2023 in Glendale, Arizona. More details about the show, including performers, will be released in the coming months on Apple Music's social media platforms. Pepsi has been the NFL's halftime show sponsor for the past decade. However, it announced in May that it was ending its halftime show sponsorship. It still remains the league's official soft drink after a 10-year deal was struck last May. I guess, they just don't want to double dip. It makes sense, I suppose. A lot of money. But Pepsi isn't the only beverage brand dialing back its presence at the big game. Anheuser-Busch announced earlier this year that it ended its more than 33-year-old exclusive deal with the Super Bowl, allowing other alcohol brands to jump in the mix. For example, Molson Coors quickly purchased a 30-second spot. Super Bowl routinely gets more than 100 million viewers in the United States, a gold mine for advertisers. Variety recently reported that Fox, which is airing next year's game, is nearly sold out of commercial inventory. Several spots going for north of $7 million. Perhaps I should buy a spot for Jams and Coffee in the Morning. Let me write a check. Let's see. I got one more story here, and then we'll get into our top 10. And I don't know, James Bond fans out there, anybody? I'm a James Bond fan. And when this story broke ages ago, or the rumor started, I was pretty excited about it, to be honest with you. But the world may finally have to let go of Idris Elba playing James Bond. The producers of the franchise have responded to Elba, expressing that he's not exactly interested in the role, despite public outcry for him to play 007. I don't think that playing Bond will satisfy some of my personal goals, he said during an episode of HBO's The Shop. Definitely satisfy the will of a nation. I'm not going to lie, he said. Elba said, everywhere he goes, people mention Bond. And I feel it's beyond me at this juncture. Producers Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson talked to Variety about the popular franchise and Elba. Broccoli said, we love Idris. The thing is, it's going to be a couple of years off, she added. And when we cast Bond, it's a 10 to 12-year commitment. So he's probably thinking, do I really want that thing? Not everybody wants to do that. It was hard enough to get Daniel Craig to do it. And he was in his early 30s at the time, Wilson added. So there's that. So we may not see Idris Elba play Bond. I thought that he would have been a great Bond, but he is a little older than his 30s at this stage in the game. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have any of your own James Bond recommendations. Who do you think should play James Bond next? I think Tom Holland should do it. That's just me. If you don't know who Tom Holland is, he's the young kid that plays Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All right, what do we got here? We'd have some celebrity birthdays before we get into top 10. Speaking of the MCU, Anthony Mackie, turning 44 years old today, is, of course, the actor who became known for his roles in the Academy Award-winning film The Hurt Locker and $1 Million Baby. He also plays the character Sam Wilson / the Falcon in the Marvel Universe, appearing in such films as Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and Avengers Age of Ultron. Birthday, Anthony Mackie. The Boss is turning 73 years old today. Bruce Springsteen, of course, rock legend, who struck fame in 1975 with his critically acclaimed album Born to Run. Again in 1984 with his rock anthem Born in the USA. He won his 20th career Grammy Award in 2009 when his song Working on a Dream took Best Solo Rock Vocal Performance. Still doing it, Bruce. 73. Jermaine Dupri, of course, popular music producer, songwriter, and rapper, also known as JD, turning 50 years old today. Became best known for his collaborations. He helped produce Mariah Carey's multi-platinum album, The Emancipation of Mimi, including co-writing the song We Belong Together. Huge smash hit. Skylar Austin, turning 35 years old. He played the role of Casey in the 2012 comedy film 21 and Over alongside Miles Teller. His other notable films include 2008's Hamlet 2, 2009's Taking Woodstock. He also voiced the character Roy in the 2012 Disney film Wreck-It Ralph, and he played Jesse in the Pitch Perfect films there. Turning 62 years old today, longtime actor, best known for his role as George Costanza, Jason Alexander, celebrating his 62nd birthday. George Costanza, of course, on the television show Seinfeld. He also had a role in a number of films, including Shallow Hal, Dunstan Checks In, and Coneheads. As a stage actor, he won a Tony Award for Best Lead Actor in a Musical for his work in Jerome Robbins' Broadway in 1989. Happy birthday, Jason. And a heavenly birthday to Ray Charles, the godfather of soul music, who pioneered R&B and popular music with such hits as Hit the Road Jack and Crying Time. He earned 17 Grammy Awards over the course of his long, successful career. He sadly passed away back in 2004. He would have been 92 years old today. You guys remember speaking of Pepsi, you guys remember the Ray Charles Pepsi commercials? You got the right one, baby. Great. Classic. I was just a young kid when those commercials were out, but I was like, oh man, that guy is so cool. Ray Charles was cool. Super cool. Pepsi. Oh, let's see. Let's get into our top 10 here. Let's take a look, take a little peek-see at what we're doing. So listen, you guys, the Stone Age accounts for more than 98% of our known history, beginning at a very distant point, some 2.5 million years ago, and stretching to around 3000 BC. The era goes so far back it encompasses multiple ice ages and the introduction of modern man. It's important to realize that this era even saw 9 human species co-inhabiting the Earth at one point, more or less 300,000 years ago, of which only one, Homo sapiens, survives to this day. The era is, of course, shrouded in mystery, and new archaeological discoveries continue to push the boundary of our current beliefs and understanding regarding mankind's cultural evolution, technological developments, and other accomplishments. However, with each new discovery, we seem to uncover a multitude of new mysteries, which not only make us question our current belief systems, but also our current societal prowess. So here is today's JNC Top 10. All right. These are some of the 10 Stone Age mysteries. So, discovery of 14,000-year-old bones belonging to numerous members of a strange pre-modern human species in China's Maldong, or the Red Deer Cave, back in 2012 electrified the scientific community. Archaeologists hypothesized at the time that the bones could belong to an undiscovered new species or a very early and primitive-looking group of modern humans that migrated to the area over 100,000 years ago. Known as the Red Deer Cave people, their mystery persists to this day. It was previously assumed that the earliest pre-modern humans on mainland Eurasia died out around 40,000 years ago, shortly after modern humans arrived in the area. This discovery suggests that a pre-modern species may have coexisted alongside modern humans on mainland East Asia at some point in the past. These ancient humans, or more accurately, their remains, which are so close to us but so physically distinct, are so much younger than our Neanderthal ancestors. It raises some extremely important questions. Were they actually a different species of human? And if that's the case, what became of them? Why did they become extinct? What was their actual way of life? And how did they engage with our ancestors? If you want my opinion, I think modern humans are incredibly volatile and have a massively conquering spirit. We probably conquered them in some battle. That's just me. Number 9 on this list. In 1894, the Shigar idol was unearthed, where it lay concealed deep in a peat bog in Russia's Ural Mountains. At 12,500 years old, it dates back to the early Holocene epoch, finally called the Age of Man, and is twice as old as Egypt's famous pyramids. The idol itself is a miracle of preservation. Carved from the wood of a 156-year-old larch tree, it was discovered in fragments and stood around 9 feet. after being reconstructed. However, according to the archaeologist Vladimir Tomalsky's drawings, it was over twice that height at one time. The massive artwork has 7 faces. A 3-dimensional face can be seen on its top, while 6 more were engraved onto the idol's body. A succession of abstract shapes, including chevrons, herringbone, and diagonal and horizontal lines, run alongside the intricately carved faces. To date, experts have not been able to decipher the message that was so meticulously engraved into the sculpture's surface. Still, it's assumed that the sculptor's geometric patterns had a very specific meaning. Some theories suggest the lines indicate borders between the spiritual and physical world, that it might resemble a pictorial map, or some have some relation to deities rather of the time. So, interesting. The world may never know. Number 8, this is one you'll recognize, Stonehenge. Of course, it's a marvel of Stone Age engineering erected before the time of the pyramids. Reading. And it stood the test of time for millennia. Each of the 80 megaliths, some of which are over 23 feet in height, weighs more than 20 pounds. The construction of Stonehenge started around 3100 BC. What remains of Stonehenge today represents only a small part of the original site. But why did the ancient people actually decide to erect these massive boulders in the middle of nowhere in the UK? According to London archaeologist Mike Parker Pearson, up to 10% of the people of what is now the island of Great Britain used to visit the site in order to worship the gods. Discovery of 80,000 animal bones, which may have been used as food or possibly as offerings to the gods, support this notion. Well, there are several hypotheses. The most popular is that Stonehenge acted as an observatory, with the rising sun shining directly through the complex's core at the equinox. Others claim it was used for pagan rituals and as a burial ground. However, the only thing we know for sure is that this was a site of great significance. There's simply no other explanations that could justify the immense amount of effort that went into the construction of the awe-inspiring structure. Next on the list, number 7, hundreds of megalithic sites are scattered over the area of Carnac on the south coast of Brittany, France. Around 5000 BC, people living in the Carnac region began erecting these megaliths. They continued to do so for the next 2,000 years, leading archaeologists to believe that the area must have had a vast, thriving, and well-organized society based on the sheer size and number of stones. It would have been the perfect area to hunt fish, gather shellfish and berries because it was protected by the Iberian Peninsula and have several freshwater springs. However, it's thought that the development of agriculture, which included caring for domestic animals and cultivating crops, freed people, giving them time to build these massive structures. But why did they construct it? Well, those that have been identified as graves, or that could be associated with graves, include megaliths, dolmen, and tumuli, as well as single-standing stones. However, the purpose of the long stone lines, stone circles, and most of the miners have been lost to the ages. Some believe they are observatories or calendars used by ancient farmers to understand the seasons and when to grow or harvest their crops. They might have also been used by priests to predict dreadful events such as solar and lunar eclipses. The world may never know. Number 6 on our list. A unique and intriguing megalith structure lies hidden in a seldom seen and uninviting section of Morocco, not far from the Atlantic coast, away from major tourist destinations and adequate roads. The Mazora Stone Ring is the largest stone ellipse in the world. It lies approximately 6.8 miles from Azala and 6.7 miles from the magnificent overgrown ruins of ancient Lixus. Mazora is virtually unknown in history, though Plutarch may have mentioned it in his Life of Sertorius in the 1st century AD. The 10,000-year-old site consists of 168 surviving stones out of a total of 175 originally thought to exist. The tallest of these stones stands at almost 16 and a half feet. In the 1970s, the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute in Massachusetts undertook the only professional survey of the site. And thanks to that survey, Missouri was discovered, and not to be only extraordinary in and of itself, but also to have ramifications for the history of megalithic sites in Britain. Missouri, astonishingly, appears to have been built by the very same civilization that built the megalithic sites in Ireland, France, and Britain, as the site is aligned with the stones in Stonehenge and Karnak and feels strongly related to the European continent. A Pythagorean right-angled triangle of the ratio 12 to 35 to 37 was used to create the ellipse. Write that down. There's a quiz. Same process was employed to create the sands of Forvey and the Daviant rings, which are among the 30 examples of British stone ellipses that have survived. Number 5 on our list. People initially arrived at the Maltese Islands some 7,000 years ago, most likely from Sicily. However, little is known about the prehistoric people's movements around the Mediterranean. Then, around 3400 BC, the construction of megalithic temples unlike any other in the world and older than the Great Pyramid and Stonehenge began. Temples were built for over 1,000 years with clear stylistic stages within the era, and 30 sites exist today. The Hal-Cephalleni hypogeum, one of the best preserved in existence, can also be found in Malta. The hypogeum is an underground chamber system carved out of rock. It's assumed that several of the temples may have had such structures below them, but they have yet to be discovered. The Hal-Cephalleni hypogeum comprises 3 main layers of subterranean rooms, pits, and galleries. The rock-cutting quality varies from rough-hewn areas to highly finished exteriors. Hypogeum also has strange acoustic properties, as sound echoes rumble on for a remarkably long time and reverberate throughout the entire structure. Several acoustics studies have been conducted over the years, focusing on the Oracle Room, which features an oval wall niche that produces a particularly intense echoing sound. It's worth noting that the painted discs grow larger as one moves farther into the Oracle Room, reaching their apogee at the wall niche where the ceiling painting abruptly ends. This, in all probability, proves that chanting formed part of the site's prehistoric ceremonies, but it remains another wonder from Malta's prehistoric past. Number 4 here. One of the first stone monuments in human history, a tower uncovered within the ancient settlement of Tel Jericho. It has spawned a variety of theories as to why it was erected since its discovery by archaeologists some 60 years ago. Around 8000 BC, the Tower of Jericho was constructed right next to the Wall of Jericho. While the wall was discovered in 1907, the tower was not located until 1952. Around 11,000 years ago, the people who raised this tower were established hunter-gatherers on the verge of transitioning to agriculture. They couldn't just pack up and depart in moments of crisis or uncertainty like their forefathers could. Some archaeologists have speculated that the locals' primitive concerns and cosmological beliefs may have influenced the building of the tower. Others have surmised that the tower and the wall next to it were defenses put in place to protect the village, provide a topographical marker, or even indicate wealth. 2 archaeologists from Tel Aviv University recently came up with a new theory. They believe that the 28-foot tower symbolizes power and might, after observing how the sunset on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, interacts with the tower and the environment around it. The shadow of a hill to the west fell perfectly on the Jericho Tower as the solstice sun sank before engulfing the settlement, implying that the monument and the beginning of a longer night were related. Number 3. Nabta Playa is a unique site on the Nubian Desert, some 62 miles west of Abu Simbel in southern Egypt. The with hundreds of prehistoric tumuli, stelae, and megalithic structures. These are the remnants of a highly developed urban community that emerged around 11,000 years ago. The community built a number of megalithic monuments, including underground tombs, stone circles, massive stone slabs, and 8,200 feet long extended rows of stelae. Megalithic monuments at Nabta Playa are among the world's oldest, predating Stonehenge by several millennia. Among the most important monuments in Nabta Playa is a stone circle that scientists have declared the world's oldest known astronomical alignments of megaliths. The stone circle, which dates back at least 7,000 years, was built as a prehistoric calendar to mark the anniversary of two significant celestial events: the summer solstice, which is associated with the start of summer rains, and the constellations in the night sky, which they use to navigate across the desert. But what happened to the people of Nabta Playa is still a mystery. Some believe that the people of Nabta Playa were forced to disperse due to climate changes in the local environment. They likely migrated south into Nubia, modern-day Sudan, and north into Egypt. It's worth noting that their exodus would have occurred in the years leading up to the rise of the first pharaohs, leading some to speculate that Nabta Playa is the true origin of ancient Egyptian civilization. Interesting. Fascinating. Number 2, the Great Sphinx of Giza, which you may recognize. Of course, the massive stone figure with the bulk of a lion and the head of a man who wears the pharaoh's crown is Egypt's national symbol. It's one of the world's foremost landmarks. However, despite its prestige, Egyptologists, archaeologists, geologists, and many others continue to debate the Sphinx's lasting riddle. Just how old is it? According to popular belief, the monolith is roughly 4,500 years of age and was erected for Khafre, a pharaoh in the 4th dynasty who reigned between 2603 and 2578 BC. Not everyone, however, believes that the Sphinx was built for Khafre. Some Egyptologists have noted as early as the mid-19th century that despite the Sphinx being situated inside the pyramid complex, traditionally identified as Khafre's, no contemporary inscriptions connect him to the statue. As time went by, various researchers have attributed the Sphinx to Khafre's father, Khufu, as well as Djidri, another of Khufu's sons. A new theory has recently emerged that places the statue's origins much further back, around 9,000 years ago. Advocates of this theory point to the substantial limestone erosion at the top of the Great Sphinx, claiming that the last period the region received sufficient rainfall to create this level of deterioration was 7,000 BC. Interesting. And finally, no list regarding the Stone Age would be complete without at least one mention of Göbekli Tepe, widely regarded as the world's first temple. Göbekli Tepe is located in southeastern Turkey, about 55 miles east of the upper Euphrates. Discovery of the 12,000-year-old site in 1994 sent shockwaves through the archaeology field, calling into question a long-held theory that organized religion appeared only after cultures adopted agriculture. During the early excavations, archaeologists became convinced the site was a ritual center, possibly a burial or death cult complex, rather than a settlement. Recent discoveries, however, such as evidence of houses, a large receptacle for channels for harvesting rainwater, and hundreds of milling tools, are rewriting prehistory once more. Researchers have also created a computer algorithm to trace the archaeological design of the site, specifically 3 of the complex's truly massive round structures. They ascertained that the pillars were deliberately placed in their specific positions. More specifically, they discovered that the site's design is characterized by symbolic and spatial hierarchical levels that reflect changes in the spiritual world as well as the social structures of the time. This discovery is noteworthy since architectural design methods like floor plans and geometry, were thought to have only emerged substantially later in history. To put things in perspective, Göbekli Tepe was constructed 6,000 years before Stonehenge. And the exact meaning of its sculptures, architecture, and ultimate purpose remains a mystery. That, of course, adds to the enigma and the allure of the Göbekli. That is a hard word to get in my brain. Göbekli Tepe. Every new finding changes our understanding of the site and the history of the human race. And that has been the JNC Top 10. The long-winded one. Sorry. All right. Well, friends, I'm going to bid you adieu and send you off for a fine weekend. Enjoy yourselves out there. Whatever you do, do it with a smile. And be kind to one another. Signing off for this week on the Jams and Coffee in the Morning, I'm Brad, and I'll see you somewhere over the weekend, and I'll see you right back here on Monday morning. Bye.